You're in luck. The luck of the Irish is what I'm talking about. Now, really, we're going to talk about thermostats. Changing your own thermostat on the wall. I'm going to give you some great go tips. Let's do the first one. So we know we need to shut power off. Power can be shut off on a gas furnace, right next to the gas furnace, or within a couple feet, there's always a light switch that puts power to the gas furnace. So when I want to shut power off, I turn the switch off. But don't forget to turn the switch back on. Now, many times, homeowners forget to turn the switch back on, and even a few technicians. So I'm going to give you your second go tip behind that. If I turn the switch off, which I will, to service the unit, I'm going to take my keys. Now I'm going to place my keys on top of the switch. This way, if I do forget and I go to my truck, I go, oh, my keys. I forgot to turn the switch back on. So I can go grab the keys and bring the switch back on. Let's take a look at the second one. The second one, we're going to take a look at the thermostat wiring. This case, this unit is a two-stage gas furnace with a two-stage outdoor condensing unit. What that means, a couple extra wires. The final thing, we're going to take a look at the 24 volts or the low wiring that's connected to the control board. So come on in, let's look at this thermostat, and we're going to take a closer look at the wiring. The unit's off. Here we go. My keys are on top of it. I shouldn't forget. Again, come on closer. Okay, we're here. I got the camera a little bit offset to the sides, and there's a reason I have that is to take a look at a particular wire that's inside this unit. So let's go ahead and take the faceplates off. We do have power off to the system, and this is the thermostat itself, and the base plate stays on the wall. Now, one of the items we're going to look at is let's count the wires. I'll show you each wire. This one may be harder to see. It's the black wire, and the black wire is going to C on a thermostat. So before we take any wires off, if we were to take them off, you can go ahead and I'm going to get my phone here, and you want to document as much as you possibly can. And so you want to get here and actually take a picture of the wires before you disconnect any to come off the wall. Now in color codes, there's no specific color codes, but in the trade, we kind of give ourselves our own color codes. So right now we have a black, a red, that's on my left side. And then the other side, that's two wires, we have the white, the yellow, the green, the brown, and the blue, which is 5 wires. So there are 7 wires that actually connects to this thermostat. And they use the black to connect to the C, very important. You either got a picture or you write it down. Black wires, you make a wire column. Then you make a terminal column, goes to the C terminal. The red wire goes to the RC, but something very important here to notice that on the inside here, there's a low jumper. It's a piece of low copper wire that jumps from RC to R to connect them both together. The reason is RC means R for coolant, and the R terminal, or sometimes it would be RH, means for the heating mode. If I was to take this jumper across off, then I would only have the system operate in the cooling or operate in the heating, but they wouldn't operate in both. So very important, leave the jumper in. So they happen to use a red wire to the R side. Makes it pretty convenient. Red, R, nice. Then on the other side, let's take a look at these 5 wires. They use the white wire to connect to the heat. W is heat, so they connect it to the W. They use the yellow wire to connect to Y, which is the cooling mode. And then we go to the green wire is for G, which is for fan. And we're looking at the brown wire, and they're connecting the brown wire to W2, which is mean heat stage 2. And the blue wire is connected to the Y2 terminal, which is your cooling stage 2. So very important to know which each wire goes. Now when we place these wires back in the wall, or you to take the thermostat, do not let the wires in the front kind of jumble and crumble up. You want the wires to be nice and neat, and push them each back one at a time. Just do one wire at a time, place it in here, and then push it back. And if we have any excess wires, where this could be a 7-wire thermostat cable, which is very desirable, because you say, Chuck, I only need, excuse me, that's at 7, could be 8, 9, or 10. I need 7 wires. I always like to pull a thermostat cable that has 1, 2, 3 extra wires, just in case one of these wires break. I have an extra wire without pulling an entirely new thermostat cable. Lots of times the unit's off. A lot of people like to work with a thermostat with the power on. This is 24 volts. Generally, 24 volts is a safer than 115, but you still can get hit with it. The controls for 24 volts is less expensive, although thermostats are pricey today. If it was high voltage, they'd even be doubling their costs. So we take a look at these wires. Now let's see where this wire from this thermostat, because we can place this thermostat anywhere we want in the house, as long as we have a wire that connects the thermostat all the way back to my equipment, which this case is a gas furnace. Now let's take a look at the control board. Now we have the control board. There is a change in the control board. There's another special part in here, and we'll get to that in a little second. We're just going to briefly go over it, but we're going to take a look at the thermostat wire. Now the wiring that comes from the thermostat is the okay. We're looking at some wires back here. Let me go ahead and move this one up. These wires here actually go to the outdoor unit. The rest of the wires that's back here comes from the thermostat. So if I'm looking at it with the thermostat, I have my white wire, which on the thermostat said it was connected to W. So on the board, these boards are identified down here in this yellow tab. Some are actually on the control board, so they're different variations. Again, make sure we don't have power to the system. And the white wire is my first stage heat. It's connected to the thermostat on W. It goes to W1 on the board. If I look at my brown wire, which was connected to W2 on the thermostat, it goes to W2 on the board, the brown wire. The third wire on the board is the fan wire, the green, which is going to go to G on the board. And the W2 wire, which was my blue wire, Y2. My yellow wire goes to Y1. I have my black wire is going to C. In this case, I do have a safety protection on this unit, which is these 2 black wires. So my red wire, if we follow the black wire out, it goes to R. So my red wire is normally connected to R, but since I put a seal and safety or water safety switch so my place don't get filled with water if the drain blocks, I added a extra protection. If the safety switch opens, my unit stops and I don't flood the place out. Last and final tip. I'm going to give you a go tip, and we're going to bring this camera up a little bit above the board. Some boards have fuses in it. Others have little circuit breakers. Lots of times if we're trying to change the thermostat live and we happen to hit the R to the C wire, it's not good. It's not good. And the whole unit shuts down and we can't get the unit working and we get worried about it and we're calling people in to try to solve it. But what we've done is either if it's a fuse in a board, we blew the fuse. This case, this particular unit has a little 3 amp circuit breaker or 5 amp circuit breaker in it, which is great. This particular one, I'm going to look at it now at the top, is a 3 amp. Let me bring the camera up and take a look at this 3 amp circuit breaker. Okay, let's take a look at this here. Here's my 3 amp circuit breaker. So sometimes if we blow the circuit, the low voltage, instead of burning the board up or burning the transformer or something that's very costly, it trips the circuit breaker. The most we want to do is take your finger and you push this switch that's on it back in. You'll see it. It's going to be popped out. If you're wondering what the switch beside it, that's a door switch. When I remove the door from the unit goes off. When the door goes back on, it pushes the switch on and the unit is made again. If you have any questions, leave them below. I do have a limited amount of time, but leave your questions below. Or you want to do is go to the Go Time Success Group website. Loads of information. Until then, guys, it's go time.